Good day, everyone. I am Teacher Sharp, and today I will discuss to you the tautology and self-contradiction. Now, we'll tackle first the tautology. In logic, tautology is a compound sentence that is always true. For example, let us study the truth value for P and Q implies P or Q. So in this example, there are two statements, P and Q. So let's get its number of rows. So we use the formula 2 to the power of n is equals to 2 to the power of 2 is equals to 4. So we have 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's get the value for P and Q. So remember the rules for n. The entire statements will be true if both statements are true. So let's begin. So statement P and Q are both true, then it is true. Then P true, Q false, it is false since one of the statement is false. Then P false, Q true, then that is also false because one of the statement is false. Then last, P and Q are both false, then that is also false. So let's move to the second column. So for now, we are using OR. So remember the rules for OR. The entire statement will be true if at least one of the statement is true. So let's get the value. So P true, Q true, then that is true. Then we have P true, Q false, and that is also true since one of the statement is true. Then we have P false, Q true, the same, that is also true. Then P and Q are both false, then that is false. Now let's move to the third column. Since we already have the values for P and Q and P or Q, so the values here will be based from these two columns. Since we are using implies, so meaning these statements will be true if either P and Q is false and P or Q is true. So let's begin. So P and Q is true and P or Q is true, then that is true. Then we have false and true, then it is also true. Then false and true, it is also true. Then for P and Q false and P or Q is false, the same, that is also true. So as what we have observed, all the values here are true. So meaning, this example is a tautology. Let's have another example. P or negation P. As what we have learned in our previous lesson, negation means the opposite of the proposition. So if the statement is true, then its opposite or its negation will be false. Then if the statement is false, then its negation will be true. Now let's get the value for P or negation P. So or, at least one of the statement is true for the entire statement to be true. So P true, negation P is false, then that is true. Then for P false and negation P true, so at least one of the statement is true, then that is also true. So as what we have observed, P or negation P values are all true, then it is a proof that this example or this statement is a tautology. Let's proceed to our second topic, which is the self-contradiction. Self-contradiction, a statement that is always false. So let's have an example. Negation, open parenthesis, P or negation P. So in this example, we only have one statement, which is P. So our number of rows will be 2 to the power of 1 is equals to 2. So we have 2 rows, 1, 2. So negation means the opposite of the proposition. So the statement P that is true will become false. Then for the statement P that is false, then its negation will be true. Now let's get the value for P or negation P. So we are using OR. So or, at least one of the statement is true for the entire statement to be true. So P true, negation P false. So we have at least one true here. Then the statement will be true. Then P false, the negation P is true. So that is also true. Now let's proceed to the third column. Negation, open parenthesis P or negation P. Since we have already the values for this one, so the only thing we need to do is to get the value for its negation. So P or negation P is true, then its negation will be false. Then for true, its negation is also false. So the values for negation P or negation P are all false, then this example is a self-contradiction. Another example for self-contradiction, P or Q and negation P and negation Q. So in this example, we have two statements, P and Q. So our number of rows will be 2 to the power of 2 equals to 4. So let's get the value for negation P. So P, that is true, so its negation will be false. Then for statement P that is true, it is also false. Then for P that is false, its negation will be true. Then for statement P that is false, the same, it is also true. Now let's get the negation for Q. So T, its negation will be false. False, its negation will be true. True, negation is false. Then false, its negation is true. Now let's proceed to P or Q. For at least one statement is true. Okay, P or Q. So the values here will be based from P and Q. So true and true. So it is also true. Then for statement P that is true and Q false, so we have at least one statement that is true, then that is also true. Then for P false and Q true, so the same, we have at least one true here, then that is also true. Then for P false and Q false, then that is false. Now let's proceed to the next column, negation P and negation Q. So since we already have the values for negation P and negation Q, so the values here will be based from these two columns. Since we are using AND, so the rules for AND is two or both statements are true for the entire statement to be true. So negation P false, negation Q false, then that is also false. Then Q false, I mean negation P false and negation Q true, then that is also false because the other statement is false. Then negation P true and negation Q false, then that is also false because negation Q is false. Then negation P true and negation Q true, then that is true because both statements are true. Now let's proceed to the last column, P or Q and negation P and negation Q. Since we already have the values for these statements, so the only thing we need to do is to follow the rules for AND. So the values here will be based from these columns. Okay, so P and Q is true, and negation P and negation Q is false. Since we are using AND, so both statements are true, then in this column, or negation P and negation Q is false, then this is false. Then we have true and also false, that is also false because we have one false here. Then true, then false, so this is also false. Then for this statement false, and this true. So we have also at least one false here, then it is also false. So all the values here are false. Then this example is a self-contradiction. Thank you, and I hope you learned a lot from me.